For the safety of our guest, they would like to remain anonymous.
Good evening. My name is Samantha, and thank you for joining me today to talk about your disorder.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
First off, I'd like to ask you about your past disorder. What were you diagnosed with, and how long were you aware of your condition?
I was diagnosed in 2007 with an impulse control disorder, pyromania. When I was diagnosed, it didn't come to me as a shock. I always had a fascination with fire. I would have to say I've had this condition since 2001, when I first started to notice my desire to set fires.
What did the doctors and psychologists look at when diagnosing your condition?
It was explained to me that a lot of factors could affect the condition I had. A few had to be deliberately and purposely setting fires on more than one occasion. I had to be tense or exhibit emotional behaviors, which for me a change in my voice happened before setting the fires. I would also be curious and fascinated with fires and often felt pleasure setting them. These had been present in my case.
Now, why did you wait so long to get help when you realized something was wrong back in 2001?
I actually only waited about a year before I got help. The process to diagnose my condition is what took the longest, about 5 years, which is a common amount of time to be diagnosed with pyromania, after looking at all the symptoms and psychological effects.
Was there any initial problem that made you get help?
Well, at first I was worried that something was wrong about me starting fires. I was an adolescent at the time, and my actions were mostly a cry for help. It wasn't my intention to start a major fire, but my disorder had taken control of me. My parents had recently been divorced, and I went into a state of depression. I wanted to feel the excitement I got from setting fires. Late one night, my mom was gone, and I had taken gasoline to her garage, but some had gotten on my skin. The fire spread quickly and out of control. A spark must have gotten in the air and hit my arm. My arm took the spark and went up in flames. I suffered from third-degree burns and ultimately needed skin grafts. It had done a lot of damage, and I knew I needed to get help in order to save my life and mental being.
So after you were diagnosed, what step did you take to get over your disorder?
At first I was given adolescent help, which was a structured interview with me and my parents. The doctors evaluated the stresses of my family and patterns of supervision and discipline. I also went to anger management class, but none of those options really seemed to help me. This is when the doctors decided to treat me as an adult. I was given a combination of medicine and some long-term insight-oriented psychotherapy.
And how have you started to recover?
I started out well, but relapsed very fast and started 3 more major fires. It's been another 5 years, and I've been diagnosed, and as of today, I haven't set a fire in 2 years. It is a condition I have to suffer with every day.
What do you hope people will get out of your story?
I've always been scared about what people would think about my disorder, but I wanted to come out about my disorder. It's still a very personal condition, but I want people to know that they aren't alone. I also want people to be aware of impulse control disorders, especially pyromania. It doesn't just affect the person with the condition, but affects the person, the people, and the person in that person's life. If people know more about disorders, they will be more likely to support you through those tough times.
Now, what advice would you give to anyone who feels trapped or has an impulse control disorder?
It's never too late to get help, even though the earlier is better. Take steps in order to be safe and physically and mentally. Talk to someone. It always helps.
Thank you so much for telling your story today with us.
And thank you for having me, Sam.